Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to share 100 digital product ideas that you can use on your Etsy shop. Also, I've made a video before that helps you test out if the idea is going to work or not. So there are multiple ideas how you can do that. You can use tools, you can use Google Trends and things like that, and I showed it in the video. You can find that in the description below. And now, without further ado, let's get started and let's look at these digital products. So I've also decided to put all of these in categories that you will find in the description below. And so if you want to just choose a category instead of listening through the whole video, you can do that and just click on the timestamp and be there. Okay, so let's get started with digital planners because this is a huge opportunity and a rising market, and there's a lot of things that you can do with digital planning. So basically here you create a PDF that then they can click on the tabs, and so once they click on the tabs they can go to specific places. So they would just click on tabs, as you can see here with those colors, and just use different pages. The thing is that when you are on GoodNotes, Notability and apps like that, they don't allow you to create those tabs in the app. So if you want to have that, if you want to have hyperlinks, you have to create it either, with Google Slides, with InDesign, or I forgot, but that slideshow thing that you have on your iPad as well. So it's not difficult to create if you just went on YouTube and search on how to create a digital planner. You could easily do that. However, it is, some time and effort that you have to do. So that's why people buy them instead of creating their own. Okay, now next up we have digital planner iPad. So as soon as you decide a niche, you want to look for different ways how you can market it. So for example, you can market it for someone that has an iPad and iPad specifically, and then there's another one that you would go for Android. And actually Android has less competition because most people create it for the iPad instead of Android, and that's why people with Android are kind of suffering. So if you are a new shop, that's maybe what you want to do. And no matter what kind of digital product you choose, it's always good to check if, can I create it for a specific device or not. Okay, next up we have academic or a student planner or a teacher planner. So it's kind of a niche where people, instead of having just all-in-one planner, which is great if you're a bigger shop, of course you want to do that. However, once you start, you want to go a little bit more in depth and choose niches that people maybe will not have as many products. As you can see, there's only 3,000 results, and there's a lot of really nice looking planners. However, you could definitely create a student planner that's more specific, maybe has some features that others don't, and earn some money like that. Okay, next we have a teacher planner. So this was a student audience, now we have a teacher audience. So the biggest thing that you want to think about when you're creating digital planners is who is this product for. And so once you decide what kind of audience you like, whether you'd like to create it for teachers or students or fashionistas, for example, you kind of want to choose one audience, because then all of your products could be linked to that audience and you could have many different products, and maybe once they visit your Etsy store they could buy not one but multiple products, which of course makes your sales a lot better and average order increases. Next we have a digital planner for ADHD. This is something even more specific than teacher or student, but also a lot of people that struggle with ADHD will want that, and also maybe people that want something very well done, very organized, efficient, and things like that. So it's not necessarily somebody that has ADHD, but it could be somebody having ADHD. Okay, next we have a language planner. So if you love language learning yourself, this is kind of a great way to create something for yourself and then others. So you can either create a whole planner, or you could create just some inserts, page inserts, like for example for this. So this is like a study plan. Another thing that I noticed that's very popular with this is having a specific language planner. So especially, you know, with Korean, Japanese, or Chinese, it's when they have to learn those signs, it's very comfortable to just do that on an iPad instead of doing that on paper, because you can just copy it and yeah, it's a lot easier. You can erase, you can be a perfectionist, you can try it a million times. So yeah, if I was learning Chinese or Japanese, that's what I would do. Next, we have a digital lesson plan. So again, we're kind of we would be targeting teachers, but also you could be targeting people that are homeschooling their children, which is very common right now. And you can target different age groups. You can have a lot of fun with this, especially if you make it for kids. You could make cute images, help them learn the alphabet, help them learn numbers. Just make a template for a lesson plan as well, because maybe that would make it easier for a teacher to, you know, have those thoughts if they had a visual. So that's the next one. Next up, we have a digital meal plan. So this is for people that maybe you want to create a grocery list or meal preparation. So this is for people that maybe want to lose weight, or not necessarily, maybe they want to just eat healthier, or they follow a specific diet. So I think this, the opportunity here is actually with the diets, because I don't see many people doing that. And especially if you start, I don't know if you've ever been on a diet, but if you are on a diet, then it's very difficult to keep up, and usually those diets can get pretty intense. So if you have a groceries list, it makes it so much easier for people. And then if they have a recipe and everything, so this could be a planner, it could be an ebook, and it could be a bundle. So it could be a planner plus an ebook. So that's the useful part. Next up, we have bundles and a monthly plan. So this is something that I wanted to include because your planner could be monthly, your planner could be weekly, your planner could be undated, your planner could be daily, your planner could be all of those things. So you may want to create a specific one that's like a monthly plan, but also to use your time as efficiently as possible. You want to create multiple different planners that you could sell for cheaper, and then a bundle that you could sell together. Next up, we have digital outfit planner. So I personally found this hilarious because, I mean, that's really fun. And actually on an iPad, again, you can do that fairly well if you have the outfit planner, because you could just crop images and then put them together. So that is kind of cool. And also you can have, you know, a family wardrobe planner. So again, something for multiple people. Now, what I would really look for, and I don't see any in this one because I think it's just too small of a niche, it's only 300 results. I would always look for if they have some adds to cart, if they are a star seller and things like that. If you see something like this, if you see that there's a lot of star sellers and bestsellers, then it's probably a good niche for you to be in. Next, we have a journal. So this is a fitness planner, but it also could be a journal. And so this is for, you know, everyone that loves fitness. So this could be a lot of different things. You see here we have a body measurement tool. I could also plan their meals. We could plan their what they're gonna do, so their workouts and things like that. A lot of people are into fitness. They could have fitness trackers and things like that. Basically anything that could motivate them to work out. Okay, next we have a digital garden planner. So this is for gardening and for people that love their plants, or for people like me that kill their plants. So basically you make sure that your plants are all right and have the motivation to actually water them, and you can plant their seeds. And yeah, people get really intense with garden planning, and I think it's really cute. And yeah, you can get in that niche. So with garden planning, I would like also to say that it could be any other hobby that you can think of. Next, we have a homeschool planner. So as I said, especially with COVID, but even without COVID, a lot of moms need help, or dads need help planning their lessons for homeschool. So something that, you know, maybe be a little bit more interesting, something that they couldn't just find in a textbook, or just an efficient planner as well for homeschooling. Next, we're gonna have a digital good notes planner. So what I would like to say with this is that no matter what the planner, I said that you need to choose the device, but also look for different applications. So for example, with digital planning, you could have it on GoodNotes, you could have it on Notability, you could have it on Zoom Notes. There's so many different apps that have this option. And sometimes GoodNotes, for example, is a little bit more, there's more competition, but maybe if you created a planner for Notability, there would be a little bit less competition or similar competition, and then you could see. So if you create a planner for GoodNotes, it's not difficult for you to create a different listing and create the sizes that would work on Notability, for example, and then sell that planner to that audience as well. Another thing I'd like to mention here is we also have OneNote and Trello and all of these different possibilities. So we have OneNote. This is how it looks like. So you can have a OneNote planner, and as you can see, it's popular now. One other one that's very common right now is Notion. So there's a lot of different places where people look for planners, and you can even see that this one, for example, created it for astrology. So again, going back to the Hobbies theme, and we have a student planner. So Notion is also gaining popularity. Then we have Trello that you could also create a planner for. So there's really endless opportunities. Next we have Remarkable. So this is something that's also very interesting. It's a specific device that you use to take notes, so you can create a planner for them as well. After that, I want to talk about digital inserts. So instead of creating the whole planner, you could actually create just the insert. Next we have binder rings. So these are the things that people buy when they want to create a digital planner. So this just makes it easier for them to do it very quickly. And so they just add it to a notebook. Another thing you could sell possibly is realistic images of a planner, so that people then could use that as their background and then add tabs on top of that, create their own planner, or to create a planner to resell. Next up, we have digital widgets. So as soon as somebody buys the planner, they kind of enter a digital planning world, which is really big and insane. And they have icons and things like that they might want to add to their planner. So widgets makes it easy because you could have a to-do list that's aesthetically pleasing, and you could just add it to the planner that you already have, and there's different kinds of widgets that you could use. Next we have a digital habit tracker. So this, honestly, I've seen this, I think it was this one. This girl made it popular on TikTok, and now there's a whole niche for them. So if you sell a product like a habit tracker and you see that it's not working that much, honestly, if you sell it on TikTok, I mean, it's probably gonna work. Anyways, just check the reviews, and yeah, I saw sometimes when you read Etsy reviews, they say, oh, I saw you on TikTok, blah, blah, and then you can check what they actually did. Next, we will look at the digital grocery list. So it's not only a grocery list, it could be any kind of list, but groceries is kind of a pain. So you could have either something that they fill out themselves, or you could make a pre-made grocery list. So you would just write to them what they would need to buy, for example, for a family of 4. Or you could create, a list of things that they can just check, like for example, avocados, eggs, blah, 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 and they just check those. And so instead of writing the grocery list every time, they just have that checked for them. And so it makes it a lot easier. Next, we have a chore chart. So this is great if you have kids. And so you can then tell them what they need to do. You can make it fun, you can make it playful, you can add stickers, you can kind of make it in their own, theme. So these could be fun to make because you can get really creative with them and make something that kids would enjoy. And so you would motivate them or your significant other to clean. Next, we have a to-do list. And with a to-do list, we have all kinds of different ways we could use a to-do list, and we can either have a digital version like a digital planner, or you could have something that's printable. There's also people that sell it physically, but you don't have to do that. You can just create a little digital version that they then print out or use on their digital planner or Remarkable or GoodNotes or things like that. Next, we have a digital monthly budget. So we're gonna start a new finance theme here. So for the finances, there's a lot of things you could do. One of them is to have a Google Sheets, a Google Sheet that will, or Excel, especially people love Excel. So then you would create it in a way that they wouldn't have to do that themselves, and they could just fill in the numbers and then the charts will automatically appear for them. Let's look into the digital journal niche. So as you can see, we have a lot of different ideas that you could, possibly do, and I want to talk about some specific ones. So one of them is a handwriting practice. So this is, I put it next to the digital journals because usually when people start writing on a digital planner, they realize that they forgot how to write, because obviously we use our phones and our laptops all the time, and I personally don't write as much I don't write on paper anymore at all. So my handwriting when I started using a digital planner was horrible, and the thing that can help you is exactly that. You can have a workbook that you just follow, like a child. And also you could create this for children, so not necessarily adults, but it could be something that children use, especially children that are homeschooled. Maybe they're looking for fun ways to improve their handwriting, but also any kind of child that wants to learn writing or to improve their writing. Okay, next we have digital notebook. This is basically the same thing as a digital journal, but with a notebook, it's sometimes more about the subject. It could be also that you create digital covers so that people could choose, but usually the covers people don't create as much. It's more about the inside of the planner. The cover, they don't really see as much. So usually the cover is kind of an extra point for the planner. So if you want to make the pricing a little bit higher, you create a planner and then you make, for example, 20 cover options that they could choose from. It's not really something that people normally buy, but it is a possibility. Next up, we have a digital manifestation prompts or a digital manifestation journal. So this is very popular with a certain kind of crowd, and this could be a workbook. And a workbook can be printable. It could also, you could create a PDF document where they can fill in the gaps, and that's another possibility. But also you can make something for GoodNotes, Notability, all these apps that we talked about. And and as you can see here, you can also create just separate pages that they can then print out and use for their anxiety, therapy, any kind of psychological thing, and manifestation as well. Next up, we have a digital gratitude journal. So the idea is the same, just, the planner is going to be different. And as you can see, some of them are really popular right now. So anything that you can think of as a printable journal, you can now make it digital, and maybe even be the first one who does it. Next up, we have a digital Bible journal. So the same way as hobbies are a big thing, religious people will definitely enjoy a journal made specifically for them, and you could create it for different religions as well. You could look for, a journaling Bible or a journal study, Bible study journal. And then if you are religious yourself, then you could think of like, okay, what would I like to have in this planner, and then create it. If you're not religious, you could still create it. You could just look at the reviews and what people talk about, what people like the most, and then create that. Again, you can create a digital version and you can create a printable version, and I would probably even sell them separately. Next up, we have digital flowers. So this is super random, but basically it's kind of like a sticker, or it could be a Procreate stamp. So Procreate is an app that people use on an iPad, and the way they use it is they make drawings with it. So, especially if you're not that good at drawing, but you want to draw to relax, you may want to have some stamps. And even if you are good at drawing, maybe you just want to have stamps. So with Procreate, you can create a lot of things. You can create these stamps, watercolor stamps. You can create color palettes. You can create Procreate brushes. So everything Procreate is definitely worth looking at. Next up, we have digital stickers. So this is huge, and there's a lot of different things you could create with digital stickers. So you can create calendar stickers. You can create text, you can create textures, you can create sticky notes, you can create actual images that they can cut and put in their planner. So with digital stickers, there's a lot of them that you could use, and also there's different themes that you want to look out for and that people may like. You could, for example, go on a Facebook group with digital planning community and then ask them what kind of stickers are missing, what kind of stickers would you like to see, and then create that and see how it sells on Etsy and on that Facebook group as well. Next up, we have printable stickers. So these are made specifically for somebody who could print them out. And then also what you can do possibly is you can print it for them. So some people, they create these beautiful elaborate stickers, then they print them out, order them in bulk, and then sell them on Etsy. So that is definitely another thing. And with stickers, we have different communities. So we have the digital planning community, arts and crafts and things like that, which is bullet journals and things like that. But we also have people that just want to have a sticker on their laptop, for example. So really, you could have different audiences that you could use it with. You could also use it with minimalists if your stickers are minimal, and then they could buy a planner and then make that planner more aesthetically pleasing just by adding stickers. Next up, we have digital paper. So digital paper is something that people will use on their planners usually. I don't know what else they use it for, but apparently this is a big one, and people actually look for this. So you could have glitter paper, you could have golden paper, you could have old paper, textures. Boho style is very popular. So, and also different kinds of patterns, flowers and things like that. Yeah, for some reason this is something that people actually like to buy. Next up, we have digital ribbon. So what I wanted to do with this is I wanted to say that there's specific elements that people are going to look for, and it's not enough to just look for digital stickers. It's good to look for different kinds of banners that they might look at and buy from you. Next, we have a digital stamp. Okay, my dog wants to bark right now. Anyways, we have digital stamps that you can use, and this is like a clip art. So a lot of them are going to be for Procreate. I don't know where else people use them, but I think mainly it's for Procreate. And you can also, create a beginner starter pack. You can have eyelashes, you can have all kinds of things. So basically what you want to think about is this particular app. And if you don't have Procreate, then ideally you want to purchase Procreate before doing this, so you understand how to create it and how to use it. However, of course, you could just buy somebody else's bundle and then see how they package it, what kinds of files they include, and go from there. Next up, we have Canva template. So this is a huge niche, because there's not one thing that you could do. You could do Canva templates for Instagram, for business, for real estate, wedding, planners, e-commerce, mockups, lists, weight loss cards, greeting cards, and so much. Because a lot of times people that use Canva, they don't really know how to use Photoshop, for example. So if there is something that you can do on Photoshop but you can't do on Canva, for example, you can't do certain overlays on Canva, you can't do textures. So these things especially are important for Canva users. But even besides that, even if you create an ebook on Illustrator and then use that as like you create the ebook background that's more interesting, and then you use that on Canva, you can do that. You can also just create Canva templates without using any more sophisticated programs like Photoshop or Illustrator, and then sell that. People love Canva right now. It is the easiest app to use if you want to create designs. So there's a lot of different things that you can do. So it goes from an Instagram puzzle template to a workbook, worksheets for coaches, especially if you want to create something that's more specific. So for a specific profession, for example, coaches, or you could have something for foodies, you could have it for bloggers, you could have it for jewelry. A lot of options with Canva, definitely worth looking into. Next, we have digital gift card. So this could be a certificate, this could be something that people sell on their Etsy shop, this could be something that people sell on their website. So if they want, you could add just the product picture or the logo and sell that, and then they can use it in their shop and make it, nice. You could also make it a creative gift for somebody. So it could be, for example, girlfriend, boyfriend kind of gift, where you have a list of things that they could get from you, and then you just sell that gift card and they can use it there. There's Printable gift cards, there's Amazon, there's all kinds of stuff with gift cards. So gift cards are pretty big, but also that means that it's a little bit more difficult to get into. So ideally you want to go into something that's, for example, for cat lovers. So a gift card for a cat lover or a dog lover, it's more specific than a gift card for everybody. I don't know why I'm doing this with my fingers. Anyways, next up we have digital greeting cards. So these are fun because you could be more creative with it. Some people like to use famous people or famous images or famous TV shows. I would be a little bit careful with that. Personally, I don't want to be sued for copyright. However, if you're a small shop, nobody's gonna probably see it. Anyways, I wouldn't do it, but if you want, that's something that people do. And I've seen it a lot. I've seen it with The Office. I've seen it with Gordon Ramsay. I've seen it with all kinds of celebrities. So, if it is something older than 100 years, then their copyright you should check, but that's probably expired, and then you can do it. Other than that, I would be really careful with. Next up, we have a digital birthday. So basically, it could be an invitation for your kid's birthday. It could be an invitation for your big birthday celebration, like 30th birthday, your big anniversary, and things like that. So people like to send these now on their mobile, and that's something that you can do. And there's a lot of different niches that you could get into for that, especially with kids. Okay, next up we have printable cards. I added Valentine's, but honestly, this printable cards are great for celebrations. So that's something very, very seasonal, and that's something that you should want to have different listings or change the tags depending on the season. So we have Valentine's, we also have anniversary, we have template, we have for grandma, we have for boyfriend, we have for girlfriend, probably for coworker leaving. All of these different ideas like baby showers or teachers are more specific than just a card. So you want to catch those opportunities like Valentine's Days and I don't know, Mother's Day, for example, and to create specific gift cards for those celebrations. That way, when it's Valentine's Day, your Etsy will push your shop more, especially if you have a sale during that time. Next up, we have a digital birthday invitation. So this is usually for kids, and it gets interesting because a lot of them are videos actually, and you could create a video with Canva again. That's not that difficult. Some of them use, Disney or princesses or Frozen or things like that. I would stay away from that personally, but again, your choice, your life, you do whatever. So next up we have, and also another thing I want to notice is that you have some for Halloween. So again, seasons are a big thing where you would want to that you would want to think about. Next up, we have digital wedding invitations. So now we come to the wedding and the wedding. Wedding is a huge niche. I think there's so many things you could do. Immediately you see the results, they're crazy. But even besides that, there are so many different things you can do with weddings. So if you want to be in this niche, you may want to try multiple things and see what works best. So here we have some wedding invitations. I personally, as you can see, the competition is fierce. So in this case, I would research what kinds of style people want and like usually, and kind of would go with that. Minimal style wedding invitations will probably be taken. Still can try it. But boho style and others you can still try it. You could also go completely different than from what Etsy is offering. So Etsy is offering everything pastels and green tones and flowers. You could make something dark, so dark wedding. But also you could make something a little bit more with humor or whatever it is. So there's many choices here. Next up we have a digital baby announcement. So, and here you can choose whether it's a boy or a girl. Obviously that's kind of you could also make it neutral. So there's different things that you could do for the digital one, and you can make it custom. I mean, you can make it editable so they can edit themselves. And again, that's could be easily done on Canva, because then they can just edit it. You can just send them a template, and there's that. Next up, we have digital baby shower invitations. So again, people want to celebrate, maybe a 1 year, or maybe they want just a baby shower. So then, you can create a beautiful one that then they can send it to their friends and family. After that, we have a digital engagement invitation. So, right now, if people don't want to spend too much money on paper invitations, they could just have a really nice one on their phone. You could also make it clickable on Canva, and show them that they can make buttons and things like that. Another thing, you can have like a little tutorial for them on how they could do it. Another thing that people do is they make these printable. So basically they create the design and then people print those out for themselves. Next up, we have digital rehearsal dinner invitation. So again, another invitation idea, and you can have signs that you would create, posters that you would create, and also you can create something digital that they would use on their phone. So again, a big thing that you could have, and you could have it for schools. You could have it, you don't have to have it for weddings, you could have it for something else. Now we have a digital envelope template, and this one is interesting because basically there's a couple of things you can do. One of them is that you give them the lines that they would then have to cut and fold, and so they could create their own envelopes. But another thing that I noticed is that inside the envelope they could cut the inserts and make like even basic envelopes look very eye-pleasing. So it's gonna make the wedding planning more exciting, the invitations more exciting and more interesting. Next up, we have digital save the date. So again, same topic, so many invitations, so many save the dates, so many things that you can do for them to then use for their wedding and to have something different. You could have, for example, a menu that they could look at on that save the date. So many different options. And you can also make it into a video. Next up, we have a printable gender reveal Printable gender reveal games. Wow, that was hard. Anyways, so to, whether it's a wedding or a baby shower or something, or a bridesmaids thing, people look for games that they could play so that, when you have all these people together, that it's fun and memorable and it's not stale and boring. So you can create these games and then they can either print them out. You could create games that are that they could later customize. So for example, for weddings, you could create games about the couple and things like that. Next up, we have printable gender reveal invitation. So basically, same thing again, an invitation, but this is for the gender reveal. So especially if you are going to be with family and friends, and if you want to have it special, you could just buy this gender reveal and yeah, that's it. You would invite them in a more interesting way. And the same thing goes for kids parties. So again, you can have a more interesting kids invitation. You can tell them where they're gonna go. You can give them all the information. So basically, you're not gonna be bombarded by all kinds of images. Images, all kinds of questions. They could just create something that looks good and also has all the details, all the information, location, time, what they need to bring and stuff like that. Okay, welcome to the category I personally like the most, so you'll probably notice that. Anyways, it's digital business, so everything business related. We have a business plan, a marketing plan. We also have digital planners here, presentation bundles, caption templates, all kinds of stuff. Expenses reports and things like that. So this is going to be the template for that. We're going to go ahead and look at digital font. So this is something that people buy when they want either to create their own logo that stands out from the crowd a little bit, or they want to, for example, this is kind of for digital planners as well, because some people will buy a handwriting font bundle because they want a font on their planner, but they want that font to look as if they wrote that. But again, could be business, could be something for a planner, and you can create your own font and sell it here. So there's multiple ways how you can do it. You will have to do your research on that, but there's an app on iPad that you can do, but also there's some apps that you can use online, and they even allow you to do that for free. Next up, we have a digital logo. So this is something that you could create either custom or that they would edit it themselves. Obviously, if it's custom, I think maybe it's a little bit better, but you have to test it out. If it's custom for you, it's not a big deal, especially if it's a minimal style logo, because you literally change the text and that's it. However, if you don't want to talk to the client at all, or you don't want to change anything for them at all and you just want to try that, I think it's a good idea to try both. And so you could either create a logo or you could have a custom branding bundle. For business owners, we have a digital invoice. So this could be eye-pleasing and this could be efficient. This could also be something that they just edit on Canva, or that they print out and you could add their logo, and it's also not something that's difficult to create. Next up, we have a digital thank you card. So this is very popular on Etsy because, as you probably know, Etsy has a lot of sellers. So a thank you card could be sent with a product. So that means that they could have a personalized thank you card that looks nice, that has their promo code, and that they don't have to handwrite each one, which is obviously a pain and takes forever. So you basically create a thank you card for them that probably matches you just create one that's either minimal or has some more decorative elements, and then they do what they want with it, customize it, and things like that. Next up, we have digital signature template. So this is something that people use on their emails. So when they want to look more professional, this could be something that they can edit, or it can be something that, I mean, this has to be something that they can edit. That's interesting. Anyways, but there is something that you could do, which is a personalized signature, and then you usually create that yourself. Next up, we have a digital editable flyer or a digital flyer. So this is something that you create for different celebrations. For example, Valentine's Day, you could have it for Girl Scouts, you could have it for a restaurant menu. So these could be different things that promote the business or promote the events, or something corporate. Again, you may want to look into this a little bit more in depth and choose a theme for it. And even they have a fundraising form. So, you know, the more boring the form, the less people are likely to do it themselves, and then they want someone else to do it for them. Next up, we have a digital activity book. So here you can see we have workbooks for children. We also have something to learn how to draw a kawaii, wedding activity book, all kinds of things that you could have, especially some inappropriate ones. So a coloring book, and you can have some fitness coloring pages, puzzles, a lot of different things here as well. Next up, we have a digital ebook. So this is something that usually people like to buy when they sell a product. So for example, if they sell a course, they might want to have a workbook with it. Also, people could use it as a freebie. So I have an ebook that they sell to gain some newsletter subscribers. So again, if that's something you want to do, then it's a great way to do that on Canva. And then, you know, you have that ebook and they can just customize it themselves. Next, we have a digital recipe book. So again, recipes and everything food related is extremely competitive. I mean, not for you to create a recipe book, but for people to like, especially if they want and kind of publish it on Amazon. But for example, if they want something for themselves, then it is something that is becoming more and more trendy. So basically, people could use their digital planner and then post their recipes there and make it eye-pleasing and maybe motivate themselves to actually cook that food. Next up, we have business cards. So business cards, of course, are important for most businesses. Again, you could create printable business cards that you actually send. So you hire a service and they send it. Of course, that's more work, and you can just make something digital and then they buy it and print it themselves somewhere. Next up, we have digital drawings. So a digital drawing could be something, for example, a custom drawing. So you could create, you could ask clients to send you an image of whoever they want the drawing, friends or boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, and then you would create that drawing for them. This is a little bit more work on your part. However, if you know how to use Photoshop, then you could find a way to make this process a little bit faster, and you could create a specific design that stands out from the other designs and then use that. So don't think that if you see a design now that you have to follow that one. You can really do something else. A lot of them like faceless designs as well. Those are easier to make. And also there's some minimalist style line art as well, if that's what you like. Next up, we have digital word art. So digital word art is something that you either, you know, create it for a mom or somebody who's into sports, or you just have like a theme, a topic, something like something for your home decoration. You could also have a digital print that's inappropriate. Again, people love inappropriate, so great way to have some gifts. And you could also have them with their names and things like that. So this is again another thing where you can be creative, funny, and if that's something you want to do, especially for girl bosses and things. Like, imagine someone wanting a quote in their home, but they don't really know what they want, but they want something nice, so they might purchase your wall art as well. Next up, we have digital name print, and this one is really cute because this is for babies, so basically for nurseries usually, and they just have, you know, especially when they create the home, they want to have maybe 3 letters, so mom, dad, and daughter or son, or they might want to have the baby's first name, and especially, you know, as new parents, this is a big deal, so they want something beautiful, and you could just create a print and then they print it out and have it at their place. They could also sell it. They could also give it as a gift, so that's another thing you may want to keep in mind. And you also can have customizable posters where they have the name, the date, and the people that they may want to buy for anniversaries. One thing I would like to kind of mention is that some of these prints people actually so they don't send the digital file, they send the actual prints, and there's a lot of things you can do with that, because with the actual print, of course, you can charge them more, but also there's a lot of services as print on demand, where you know, somebody sends you an order, you send it to the print on demand company, and you pay only once you order it there. So it means that you don't have any, you know, storage, you don't have to have a bunch of stuff at your home. You could do it like that. Again, this is not something for beginners or someone that starts an Etsy shop. I think it's better to start with digital products and move to physical products later, or to have a mix of them, because of course it's more risky than just having a digital product. The margins are more annoying, I want to say, but yeah. Next we have digital ebooks. I think I talked about that. Next we have printable art. So again, if you're an artist, this is gonna be your kind of place, and there's different things you could do. So as you can see, you can do cities, which I think are really nice. So you could do also just any kind of printable art basically. So there's a lot of them. You can have boho, abstract, sets, vintage, botanical work, kids, whatever. So this one is a little bit more tricky because everything art related is more saturated, especially printable wall art. There's a lot of printable wall art on Etsy. However, you could still do it if you niche down. So this is not the place for you to be very broad. This is too competitive for that. However, if you look for something more specific that people could look for, definitely something you may want to try out. Digital pet portrait. So people are definitely crazy about their pets, and you could make them a painting that they then could hang up on their walls at home. And these ones, as you can see, they have them ready in 6 hours. So keep in mind that that's something not everyone can do. You know, you maybe will not want to do something like that. However, if you do, and if you have the time, then this is of course a good way to make some money. Next we have digital house. So again, landscapes, or maybe somebody wants to have their dream house, or they want their own actual house that they grew up in, and especially a great gift for someone who is has a new home. So yeah, people love this as well. Digital illustration from photos. So basically this is all of these different ideas I talked about. So it could be your kids, it could be a couple, it could be pets, it could be a house, it could be anything. So basically if you're ready to create a digital print for somebody, then that's the way to go. I think if you are an artist and if you like creating you know, digital art, this is probably one of the best things you could do. However, it's definitely more time consuming. It's not going to be passive. You will need to actually create it, and they will want it Next up, we have digital landscape art. So again, art theme. So basically with this, I would think about, people have their homes and they want them styled in a specific way, especially with Instagram, where some people even have their homes styled to the theme of their Instagram and they only stay at places that are styled in that theme. They may also want art that helps them portray that specific feel from their home. So whether it's vintage, whether it's boho style, whether it's minimalism, this is where it goes. And with that, I want to talk about digital line art, because that's another topic that's very similar to that, because it is very popular and it is something that's more specific to minimalism, and it again can be custom and doesn't have to be custom. Could be, could be just something that you created and then they bought for their home. Digital oil painting, again, this is probably something that you could do with Photoshop pretty well, but digital, I don't know how popular this is. Mainly people usually buy something, actual oil paintings. However, what is popular is the style of when you take a photo and make it into an oil painting. So people like that because maybe they have their own, wedding dress or something and they want to keep that forever. They want to have it in their home and they want it beautiful and more artistic. So then that's something that you could do. You could make that photo into an oil art. Next up, we have digital labels. So these are something that you would stick on a bottle, or somebody that makes cosmetics and they want it there, or a candle, for example. So different things that people would put the labels on, especially product labels. And there's many different ones that you could choose from. Next up, we have digital to poster. Again, something that, they would send you an image and then you would turn it into a poster, just a different way to do that. Next up, we have digital art abstract. So again, with digital art, you want to look at different things. Abstract is a little bit tricky because, of course, there's a lot of competition there. However, there's still styles that you could find that people are looking for. So you will want to add other keywords that, for example, you may want to find how you can differentiate yourself. You can also create some bundles. That's another way to make this work. And then I want to talk about digital art fashion, because if, again, we're going back to the theme of somebody having it in their house. So this is a good way for them to make their house more pleasant. And with fashion, it's interesting because you could have some drawings, but you could also have photos. So you could edit some photos and then have them as a fashion thing at your home. Next up, we have digital quotes. So again, custom quotes. And sometimes people just want, something placed for them. So as you can see here, there's nothing there. There's just a font and, that's all it is. And then you change the quote and have it. So I guess people just want a certain look and they don't want to mess with it. And this is the easiest way to do it. Next up, we have digital designs for shirts. So for people that are selling t-shirts, this is something that they might be looking for, but also for people that want to buy some t-shirts. So especially if you have a specific theme, then it is something that they will definitely look into. And you would just send them a digital file, then they send it to a print shop and print it out themselves. However, with this, what I would like to say is that when you have that listing, you want to make sure that in the listing itself, you make it clear that it is gonna be just a digital file. So whenever from the photo, you can't tell that it is a digital file, you want to make it very clear in the description, because otherwise people will be mad and you don't want that. Next up, we have digital designs for kids. So again, this could be something that maybe it's a tooth fairy design, or this one is the real endless one, because there's really, there's a lot of stuff here. So I think this is more for like looking for ideas what they could do. But you know, coloring pages for kids, coloring pages for adults, or Valentine's mugs and stuff like that. Like a lot of different things that you could do, especially SVG files, so the files that are without a background that they could print. Definitely something. Just think about the moms and what they would want to buy for their kids and what would make their kids happy. Next up, we have digital maps. So this one is really cute because, for example, you could make it custom and it's not hard for you to make. Basically, what you would do, you would have a Photoshop file and then you would just change the city, you know, you would just change the image literally, and then, you know, they could print that at their home. But it is nice because it is a customizable item. It is extremely popular right now. There's different ways that you could do it, but of course, somebody looking for a Valentine's gift, this is a good idea for them. Next up, we have digital gifts for couples. So basically that's the same thing. But I wanted to include digital gifts and show, like, for her, for him, whatever, because basically if you are in the art niche, it might be a little too competitive. So then you want to find something that, you know, you could differentiate yourself. And finding a reason why somebody would buy your art and then making specifically for them, making the art specifically for them, it is a good way. So you can have digital gift certificate for photography, digital gift card template, mock-up, digital gift for her, for couple, all kinds of stuff. So even a digital gift tag. So there are a lot of things you can do with digital gifts. And if you are an artist and you want to have more than just wall art, I think it's a good way to start and look for. Of course, keep in mind that this is not specific enough. You may want to go further and find, you know, more specific keywords than that, but an idea is here. Okay, next we have digital photography. As you can see, the results are pretty high, and what you will also notice is that these things are sold for people who maybe are photographers or want to have a backdrop. So for example, for their product images, so anything that could help their product images, this is where you would post it. And you have digital backdrop. That's again something that people use quite a bit. This one caught my attention because it's like 6 images that are matching, and I think that's pretty nice because you could basically create something like is similar to an Instagram feed. What I mean is that they could have a similar tone of images and then you could sell those prints. Now it's a lot easier to sell prints that are black and white, because when you add color to that, when they print it, you don't know how they're going to print it and the color could be distorted. However, with something black and white, you're pretty safe. Next up, what we will have is digital photography backdrop. So everything is here, from glares to actual backgrounds to hearts. So everything that somebody would want to add to their image. So with overlays and backdrops, so with overlays and backdrops, what you can do is you can make it a little bit more eye-pleasing, or maybe they could use it for their product images. Like for example, this one you have double-sided and, you know, different colors and things like that. So this is a pretty popular, it is a very popular color, pink backdrop, I mean. So you could possibly do that. Again, some of them are not digital. Sometimes people sell actual backdrops. So if that's interesting for you, you could start creating actual backdrops, like painting them out and then sending them as a physical product. Again, if that's something you want. I personally wouldn't do it on Etsy. I would do it on my own website. But again, for a digital product, it's great. Next, we have a digital photography order form. So this is for photographers when whether it's a wedding or something, that they could state everything out here. And again, a similar thing is also done for contracts. Also for contracts. So whether it's an influencer contract, YouTube influencer contract, or a photographer contract, this kind of stuff that's boring to read, all the law stuff, is great on Etsy because nobody wants to do it, and also commercial licenses as well. Next up, we have a complete course. So this is for photography, but you could sell your own course if you want here. Obviously, this is not the platform usually to do that, but you could advertise it. There's not much here anyways because it's, not great. However, what I would do instead of this, instead of selling my own course, because it's not for Etsy, but I could create a list where people can, learn photography, infographics, Etsy shop optimization, things like that, and also course books, something for somebody that wants to create a course. So that's another idea for you. Next up, we have digital presets, and I had to mention them because this is one of the biggest digital products you can find, possibly. Because I wrote digital presets and I didn't write mobile presets, that's why I didn't get many results. But now, as you can see, it's crazy. There are so many of them. I would be careful with this niche. You do want to test out different options, and you do definitely want to test out different vibes, especially more natural looks, and also just look at for what people are looking and searching for right now. So competing in this niche is hard, but it is possible, and you could possibly do that. You have Polaroid, for example, so that when you see something happening in fashion, or makeup, like a nude look in makeup, for example, or in fashion, you have 70s coming back, or that Polaroid look. That's when you look at presets as well. Bright and airy, I think I've seen it from the beginning. This is definitely one of the more popular presets. And if I go, I can see Lightroom, and then I can also delete mobile and just add presets, and then I can see the most popular ones as well. So for Instagram, for example. Next up, we have everything Instagram related, because presets were initially used for Instagram. Right now, I think it's good to bundle up multiple products to really use that. So for example, they have Instagram covers. So this is something that I'm sure you probably know what it is. In case you don't, it's something that you put on your, on the feed above, and that's what it is. So you can see there are a lot of different ones that you could possibly use. Again, if you have something like 300 or a crazy number, people are going to be more happy with that because they want more for their money. Next, we have digital Instagram templates. So these are there are quite a few of those, and because of that, because of the competition, what I would personally do, I would choose a specific niche, by which I mean, for example, I'm creating these templates for photographers, or I'm creating these templates for coaches. So anything that for bloggers, so anything that you see that people are, any kind of profession that you think people are gonna be interested in. Also boho templates. There was a period where people really liked an Instagram puzzle. I'm gonna just show you really quick how it looked like if you don't know. So it's basically how every post matches. Right now, people are kind of looking more for photos. So if you could create an Instagram puzzle that's more focused on the photos than graphic elements, that will be probably better for you, because those are the posts that Instagram likes more anyways. Now we have iOS app icons. So that's something, product that you could add. So if you have Lightroom presets, then maybe that's something that you could bundle with. So basically that makes an eye-pleasing view of your phone, or a tablet for that matter. And people like it because we use our phones all the time. So maybe you want to look at something that's more eye pleasing, and that's something that you can customize. And next up we have computer background aesthetic. So this could be a really nice wallpaper. Again, for someone who's in the artsy niche, this could be something they could try out. But another thing that people really like right now is kind of like the one that has a calendar and has all the folders matching, so that they can, you know, really organize their background in a more interesting way. So this is something that I would think about, because it is something that could help people, and it's not just the wallpaper, because that we can change easily, just go to Pexels and get a photo, you know. But this, it is something more organized and more aesthetically pleasing, I guess. Next, so these are the Instagram puzzle, and then we have app icons, okay, and then we have Instagram story stickers. So this one is interesting because people are really into stories right now, well, for now. And sometimes you can make it a little bit different, so they could stand out from the crowd with those kinds of either it's text or it could be images that they could add on their Instagram stories. So it could be washi tape, for example, or it could be something more fashion related, food stickers as well, something, you know, more themed. Next, we have Instagram carousel. So that is something similar to Instagram templates. Just instead of that, you would create a flow for carousels. You could also create a video on how to create them, and like the easiest way to do that. And then you could sell that template to people as well. Next up, we have social media templates. So these kind of include everything I just talked about, and this is something I wanted to include just so that you could look at these and kind of maybe find something that you would want to have for yourself. And maybe if any of these ideas, you know, you don't like, then you could look into this and find, you know, something for yourself here. I mean, I said nothing basically, but what I mean is that you would look at these templates and maybe find some other ideas as well. So these broad topics I usually use to find those ideas. So when I use social media templates, that's when I'm actually looking at ideas. Next up, we have Etsy banner. So basically everything Etsy related that could help people to brand their Etsy store. Next up, we have a YouTube banner. So basically for all the social media, you could look for different things that you could create a branding for them, and then they could use it on their either YouTube or their Etsy. Next, I have a Shopify theme. This one is a little bit more complicated. So, you know, but you could look into it. So there's Wix as well. There's templates for the websites, so you could possibly learn how to do that yourself and then create those themes and sell those custom themes as well. After that, we have a WordPress theme, so basically the same concept, and you could try it out to create, you know, for a blogger or something like that. Again, if you are not a very technical person, I think I talked about a lot of different things today, so this is not, you don't have to do this, okay? Next, we have a CV template. So resume templates or CV templates are really, really popular because people want to look professional, but they maybe don't want to do all this work to create that template. So you will notice some differences. So some will have images, some won't. As you probably know, in the US, it's not very likely that people will use an image. However, in Europe, people use images usually. So I think that's part of the reason. You could create both and see which one sells better. After that, we're going to look at digital games. So I touched this topic a little bit already, but I want to really dive into it because there's so many different things you could do. So you could do trivia, or you could do, you know, so trivia night is huge. But you could also do it for different celebrations. So for example, for Valentine's Day, you could do it for winter. You really, there's there's not a limit here. So this is another topic that I wouldn't necessarily use this keyword in my listing. I would look for ideas here. So I'd start here if that's what you want to do. If you want to do games, then look here, find out what's selling, and then kind of go from there. From the games one, I like the idea of baby shower games. I mean, I don't even plan to have a baby, but anyways, I think it's a great idea because it is something fun to do in a baby shower, and it is something that you could possibly create. So for example, trivia for a baby shower, I think is a great idea. Anyways, so you could just make that as a game. We also have printable games. So this is another huge topic. But I wanted to include it because instead of having a digital game, we can have a printable game, and then it's, the Pandora's box opens basically, and we have even more ideas. And with this one, we have just an insane amount of results, which shows you two things. One, the competition is probably fierce. However, it also shows you that there's a lot of opportunity and that you could try different things and different themes and see what clicks, because maybe a baby shower is too competitive. However, Valentine's Day, maybe they need more games for Valentine's Day or for him or her. And if I do this, now I can see the different things I could do. I have a board, a Valentine, pieces, cards, sheets, art, kids, so many things, even tickets. So again, something for me, it's very interesting, and I think it's a good way. Now, adult niche is great and crazy, because I think, normally it's harder to sell those games in an adult niche. The advertising is complicated. However, on Etsy, it's not complicated at all. And you have bachelorettes, for example, that are, definitely looking for some games. And then let's get drunk. So drinking games are popular. Basically anything inappropriate is over here, and you can use humor and things like that. And so parties as well, again, something to do. People love board games anyways. I think they probably did really well during COVID. Next, we have a new niche, which is digital art. So I wanted to include this because you can sell SVG files, so basically everything that you create in Illustrator, and people usually look for very specific things. So instead of just having an SVG file, look for shapes that they're looking for. So for example, in this case, it's a heart, or it could be an owl. So I wanted to include it because I think it's a cute animal, but also, you could make an illustration, and then people could print it on their t-shirts, and then kind of give it as a gift. So that's an idea. Next up, we have digital mockup. For a digital mockup, I saw a lot of t-shirts and a lot of wall art. What I didn't see is notebooks. So as notebooks, people could use the notebook to then create their own digital notebook, so they could use it as a background. But also, I think there's a lot of opportunities here, especially because a lot of mockups can be used on Canva. And mockups have been popular already for such a long time, but you could have templates for Pinterest. You could have t-shirt designs. You could have these just paper pages, especially if you like to take photos. I think then the wall art possibilities are endless. And as you saw, there's so many people selling wall art, so for sure they need product images for that, so that they could put their wall art and make it more realistic. So wall art is huge. It's a huge. That's why you see all these gallery walls and stuff, because it is. And t-shirts as well, and you don't need to be a crazy photographer to create a t-shirt like that. I could use my dog right now. Anyways, people want product images that look like realistic and that are part of lifestyle. They don't really want they want Photoshop ones and they want professional ones, but they also want some that look very natural. So if you are especially good on Instagram and you know how to take pictures of yourself and you have a white t-shirt, this is your time to create that image. And it can be objects, it can be people. This is one of the most endless opportunities that I have found. Mockups is huge, and if you want more ideas, then definitely check it out. Next up, we have digital SVG. So basically what I talked about, it's could be hearts, it could be some writing, it can be a Superman sign, it could be anything that people could then possibly print on a t-shirt, especially baby feet. I mean, this could be used in so many different ways, like wall art or a t-shirt, or I don't know where else you use baby feet, but you could. And then if you need more ideas, I also included digital download. So here you would just put it in, and then as you can see, you have digital wall art that we talked about, cards, art, posters, stickers, photography, Valentine cards, and all kinds of stuff. But I would like literally go through these results and see, maybe I like something and maybe I missed something, or maybe it is some personalized gift that I could create. Next up, we have, did I just say digital? Okay, I also wanted to say digital template, not just download. And that's another thing that you can look for if you want even more ideas than I gave you today. I mean, if you're still watching, I'm amazed and thank you so much. But I mean, if you still need ideas, they're still there. There's so many ways to do that. And then we have Facebook cover template. So all the social media, you really can use that for your advantage, even Facebook groups. And I mean, anything you can create for social media that would make people's lives easier, do it. Next, we have digital quotes. So this is again a painting that you could use. And I feel like digital designs for t-shirt, for kids. Okay, these ones I already did. And digital tech. Okay, so that's it, you guys. Those are all my ideas for now. If you want more ideas, just let me know. I'll make part 2. I mean, there's still more. I'm out of breath. If you watched until here, thank you so much, and see you in the next video.